All right, we're back on Wednesday for a quick market update. We're forced to come here today with the market acting irrationally once again following a Golar LNG earnings call earlier this week. Surprise, surprise, there was no announcement of a new contract. For some reason, the market seems to think that these contracts will come on an earnings call, and so they act as they typically do, and they sell the shares off steeply when they don't get what they've been waiting for. So the story of Golar, as you can see in the chart here, is with the LNG natural gas boom 21, 22. The stock rebounded from COVID lows. Then it essentially went sideways for 2 years as some of these projects hadn't come to fruition. Investors got exhausted, tired. Many gave up on the stock. But then end of February, after the stock sold off after fourth quarter earnings, there was some life breathed into the market with some rumors of a new contract in Argentina or elsewhere. And so I put together this beautiful little, and I guess my guy is in the way here. I can move myself out. There we go. So in the fall, Golar mentions that they are in detailed talks on a few projects. Then in February, they said that they had inked some framework, which wasn't quite specific enough for the market. Then in early March, when the stock really started to take off, the rumors came out about that framework being a little bit more farther along than the market thought. During this time, then a month ago, Golar hired a new chief commercial officer. They've hired another few folks on board to help manage these new projects that they've updated the market are in the works. And then here we are now with the latest headline from the most recent earnings that they've now shifted to a kind of a further along detailed contract, final stage negotiation. So when things kicked off in early March, I went out in the rain. I was in Argentina, which was timely given the rumors of potentially a YPF deal, put out this video as the shares were kind of roofing at the end of the day. Clearly, if you had gotten in there, things had looked well. We crossed 27 earlier this month, but now they've traded off back into the 25s. So, it's interesting because clearly there's a lot of value in these assets. In the fourth quarter earnings, Golar put out this nifty table that laid out the different EBITDA levels of different projects, sensitivities. Stifel was out with a note this week. Stifel's been one of the few equity research firms that kind of followed and stuck with Golar. Clearly, they covered it for a couple of years when not much happened. But their latest math is, I laid it out here, 500 million plus 150 million plus 600 million, potentially up to 1.25 billion of contracted EBITDA, which they put at $80 a share. Backing that back to today, they think that the stock could end the year at $50 a share. Currently, their share price target is $35 a share, but just goes to show you some of the massive upside in these numbers, which clearly the market is not baking in any of this. So today kind of got me thinking about Golar because all the equity research analysts were out with updated price targets as the stock continues to sell off. So Deutsche Bank went from 28 to 40, substantial move up. BTIG was out going from 30 to 36. And then, as we mentioned, Stifel has kind of been in these levels. Their kind of baseline target with not much happening is $34, fair value at 12 times EBITDA on the current project. And they said in their note, potentially 50 by year end. So, where we sit with Golar today, I think it's just another massive opportunity. The market clearly isn't valuing the words from management about new projects. The stock is traded off. When it traded off into the 19s, the last time we did this earnings call situation a few months ago, I was out saying it was a strong buy there. Here we are. Obviously, the stock had run up a bit, which was great. Now we're trading off again. Given the progression of kind of management's wording and discussion and actions on everything that's going on, I think we're kind of in a similar position here where this current sell-off provides another great opportunity. So here's a picture from Golar's presentation with all their assets. And none of these equity research presentations give any value to Avenir or Macau Energy, which they announced they plan to spin out. This is a pretty interesting business, potentially a few dollars per share of value there. It's doing kind of more land-based, flare to LNG, micro LNG type projects, but very interesting Avenir. But the main deal is these three massive assets plus the conversion assets. And then they have what I think is probably maybe not the best received slide, but probably the most insightful, which is this very straightforward slide on the right, which shows the whole world FLNG space. And the fact that they're kind of the only FLNG as a service company. The others are, you can see here, Eni, Shell, Petronas, big multinational oil companies. But there's only 5 of these guys. And, there's every day, I feel like we're finding a new massive natural gas field. These projects take forever to put together, very specific engineering, long-term projects. Very few folks have been able to execute on these projects within a very small group of people that even play in this sector. So, from my perspective, it seems quite clear that these assets are going to continue to work. They will find new contracts. There's going to be tons of value here, capturing and extracting natural gas from these more horizon offshore facilities is just it's a total growth area. So it makes little sense to me that we sit here with the market really just not paying attention to this stock. So that's the market update from me. Golar LNG trading off in the face of updated news, which all seems quite positive. We recognize that people have gotten maybe a little lost patience with the story over the last year or two, but over the last few months, it's been a quite exciting ride. And with new news coming out, seems like one to pay attention here, given what the market's doing. So look forward to updating you guys on some of the other things that have happened this week. We'll be in Greece for Posidonia next week. We're doing a meetup on Monday, 5 p.m. Hope you can make it. Otherwise, talk to you soon.